labeled ones are not for us. I laughed, pinning the list on the wall as a piece of dark humor from my I don't know this word, predecessor. The first month I lived like a dead man walking. Daytimes were spent staring at the forest, sometimes greeting a one-eyed crow I called Blackie, who landed on the railing at 3 p.m. every day. The radio never worked, it only is static, a broken piece of junk. I hoped I'd never need it. Everything was quiet, until I broke the first rule. I had won a round of solitaire against myself and had a few too many cups of instant coffee. The broken wall clock was chiming midnight when I realized I was late. I rushed to lock the door, but missed one window curtains. As I turned, I saw it. It was a thing, not a beast, not a ghost, but a mistake. I stood on the forest's edge like a stretched, twisted black ink bolt. Its limbs were distorted at angles that defied anatomy. Its head cocked sideways. It was still, but I knew it was watching me. My pulse evaporated instantly. I scrambled to pull the curtain shut. My heart hammered against my ribs like a caged bird trying to escape. From that night on, I stopped laughing. I considered leaving, but I knew I couldn't make it to civilization before dark. Staying here, despite the terror, was my only safe option. A few nights later, I woke up to screaming. A woman's voice, raw and frantic. "Help! Is anyone there? Save me!" My hand froze an inch from the radio. Rule number 2 was burned into my mind. I didn't dare respond. I shut off the lights and huddled in the corner like a coward. The wailing went on for almost an hour, then abruptly turned into a slow, satisfied chuckle. It sounded like it was pressed directly against the steel structure of the tower. It knew I was listening. The threat escalated. One afternoon the radio came to life on its own, blasting cheerful 1930s jazz, laced with vinyl static. My blood turned to ice as the tower lights began to flicker like a dying heart. I dove to the main breaker. I pulled the lever with all my strength. The world went black. Then I heard it. A wet, heavy sound, slowly dragging itself across the glass of the observation deck windows. Viscous, slow. 10 minutes in the darkness felt longer than the last 30 years of my life. The second supply drop came at the end of the second month. The helicopter dropped the crate nearby and immediately flew off without even waving. My heart sank. I was stuck here. I hauled the supplies into the storage room. At the bottom of the empty crate I saw it, a single red labeled can. It was placed carefully under a layer of foam, like a reminder. My blood ran cold. The supplies weren't just for me. They were for that thing too. Just when I thought I'd gotten used to dealing with the things outside, rule number 4 shattered my reality. That night, I unconsciously glanced up and I saw the reflection on the glass. I immediately snapped my head away, but the glimpse was enough. The me in the reflection was smiling. It was a smile I was incapable of, one filled with pure, unadulterated malice. rushed to the door, my head grabbing the handle, but my eyes fell on the old wrinkled paper, faintly written under the original 5 rules. I saw a line I'd never noticed before. Rule 6. When you think you are rescued, do not open the door. Imitation is its specialty. I slowly backed away. After a few minutes, the voice outside changed. The warm call became a high-pitched, metallic shriek. Open the door, LX. The banging made the entire tower shudder. I knew the structure wouldn't hold. I couldn't open the door, but I couldn't wait to die either. I grabbed my backpack, I smashed the observation window and slid down the rusty fire escape ladder. I didn't get that far before I heard the entire lookout tower groan and collapse behind me. I ran without looking back, pouring every ounce of adrenaline into my legs. I ran all night until I collapsed, covered in mud. A forestry ranger found me the next morning. They said I was delirious, clutching a crumpled paper. They said I was hallucinating. But I know the truth. I survived. I'm free. But it's not over. I rented a small apartment in the city, but my life hasn't returned to normal. My paranoia has bled into every single day. I only allow myself to eat blue labeled cans now. It has become my personal standard for safety. Every few days I conduct a quick, fully closed procurement ritual at different grocery stores. I must find the specific blue can and make sure there are no red labels hidden on the shelves. I smashed all the mirrors in my apartment and keep the curtains drawn. Yet I can still feel it. It wasn't trapped in the tower. It followed me home. Now I'm sitting here typing this, my cell phone, the device I thought was safe, the link to the civilized world just went off by itself. The 1930s jazz. It's using the only alarm I understand to remind me. Remember the paper. I've taped it to the fridge now, replacing every shopping list. Don't believe anything you see. You don't believe anything you hear. In this situation, that list is the only thing you can trust. That was a crazy story. I liked it. Like I said, I like the stories with the rules, and that was a good one. I'm impressed. Thank you so much to this Reddit user. All the stories are linked down in the description box, by the way, just FYI. I'm going to search for the next story now. I found another story. It's a little shorter, so I can take a break. The third one will be longer too. How do I make my daughter feel ugly? I made it my life mission to make sure all of my daughters are ugly. Then my youngest one called me up one day and said, "Dad, I feel pretty today." And I woke her ugly mom up and told her that we had to go down to Rachel's flat because she feels pretty today. My wife was so scared and emotional, but I told her to get a grip. It's not the first time Rachel has felt pretty, and I have got to go down and make her feel ugly. My wife is just being emotional again, and I need her to toughen up. Those creatures are going to use her skin to clothe themselves. My wife cried and shouted. I told my wife to shut the hell up, and that nothing is going to happen. When I stormed into my daughter's room, all the ugliness from my daughter's face was gone. She kept telling her mother that she feels pretty, and my wife kept emotionally shouting back, "No, you are ugly, ugly." And then I had to get started. I first acid on my daughter's face, but her face healed from it to go back to being pretty. Those creatures are preserving her prettiness, my wife shouted. I then tried to scar my daughter by using a knife, but those scars disappeared. My daughter started to cry and she kept saying, I feel pretty today, so pretty, and those creatures are going to wear her skin if I don't find a way to make her feel ugly and look ugly. So I started to be verbally abusive towards my daughter, in the hopes of making her feel ugly. I told her how useless and dumb she is, and that she will never amount to anything. I then tried getting an iron, and while it was hot, I tried to burn her face with it. Her face healed, and those creatures can be heard around her flat now. They want my daughter's skin, and I am so terrified. My wife tried punching and hitting my daughter, but our daughter still felt pretty. Those creatures are speaking to each other now, and they want to wear my daughter's skin. My wife is screaming at my daughter that she is ugly and that she hates her. My daughter keeps saying how pretty she feels, and she is also crying. I have tried everything to make her physically ugly and to make her feel ugly, but nothing is working. Those creatures want her, and then I started to feel good looking. I was so confused in the start of the story, but while I was reading it, it got better. So I liked it. Let's read a third story and then we'll be done. I found a middle long story. We'll see. I can't pull anything out of the title because it just says jump in. Owen didn't like leaf piles. Autumn was always fun. He ran through the town's local corn maze every year, and Thanksgiving also brought mountains of turkey and ham. The sound from outside wasn't the tree. He walked over to the window, his yard illuminated by the full moon. Leaves. So many leaves. They covered the yard, the street, and a small section of a wall leading up to Owen's window. Come, play. The voice started out quiet, just a whisper between the raspy shaking in the pile. Then it got louder. With us. He looked to see the eyes, so many pairs of eyes, poking out within the leaves. Jump in, Owen. The next morning, Owen wasn't in his bed. Before his parents noticed, his dad went out early to rake up the yard. He didn't have to try very hard. There wasn't a leaf to be found. Crazy idea. I like the idea of, no, I don't like the idea of disappearing children. I just like, in scary stories I like it, because, I think when children are involved in scary stories,